Okay, welcome back to yet another episode of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm your host, Stephen Edwards. All right, let's get started. So we're talking about what's going on in the world and creating meaning and certainty in all this chaos and mayhem, right? And we've been focusing on what's going on in the Middle East and the wars of the world. We primarily picked on the war between Hamas and Israel as the focal point, because it's the focal point of everything everywhere all at once right now, yeah? But I said before, it's a microcosm of what's going on, not only just in the world, there are 32 wars going on right now, but the war that's going on within all of us, right? The spiritual war, the grappling with the external world is really a reflection of us grappling with our internal world, which is changing, and it's being driven by the increase in vibration, which has been moving upward for quite some time. And now it's reached a point, as vibration does, where the higher the frequency it gets to a certain point, breaks down, and it creates chaos. And we're experiencing this chaos within us and in our external world. Remember that the external world is really a reflection of our internal world. We walk along a hall of mirrors, right? So we were talking in the last episode and the previous episode about the difference between crime and punishment, which is the world we live in today, which never creates justice, real justice, right? It's full of injustice, and we have to accept that we're not going to find justice in the external world. We have to find it in our internal world. And once we can accept there will be no justice, no equitable solution to all this, but what we have to do then is, once we've accepted that and we can really accept it in our heart, we can then begin to build peace and create and start the peace process, right? But not until, as you've seen, these wars have really been going on perpetually. One way or another, they stop here and explode over here, and it never gets resolved, right? So the resolution comes within inside of us. We must find peace within ourselves before we can hope to create peace in the external world. And that might mean us doing it one person at a time. As we extrapolate ourselves and we create peace in ourselves and we abstain from the conflict, the wars, then eventually there'll be nobody left to fight them, right? Genius, I know. So the question is, we have to accept that there are wars right now. And they're not going to go away immediately. They're going to go away gradually as we, more and more of us, adopt this, what I call heartism, become heartists, right? Live from our heart, speak from our heart, recognize our heartfelt feelings, the vibrations within us. Let our heart be our CIA, the central intelligence agency of our lives. And we can use our brain and our thoughts as the agent of our heart, not the other way around, right? It's a huge shift, right? And this is the shift of consciousness we're all being asked to make. Is it easy? No. Will it be worth it? Yes. But it's going to take some practice, right? Just like a doctor. You got to practice, right? Not expect to perfect it right away. Okay. So the question is, in the face of these wars, whether we're involved in them directly or not, we're involved in them, right? And who do we become in the process and aftermath of these wars, right? Do we go to our emotions, or primal emotions, or do we take responsibility, or are we irresponsible? Do we say it's somebody else's problem? This country needs to do this government needs to do that, and give away our power? Or do we take responsibility? Like a sister might take care of her brother, or a brother might take care of his sister. Be responsible, right? Take responsible action. Or, listen, it's okay to be irresponsible sometimes too, right? It's okay to go out and party occasionally. It's not saying you're going to be responsible and perfect. No, we got to live our lives. But when it comes to some of these matters, like I'm using homelessness as an example here, right? What happens sometimes is people blame homeless people because it's their fault. Listen, homelessness could be their fault. Some people choose to say, I don't want to be part of this society anymore. Okay, that's a choice. But there are some people who are forced into that situation because there are flaws in our financial system, in the world we live in. And it's our responsibility that determines what happens, right? To these people and to ourselves. Because let's be honest, homelessness has not gone down. Right? What's happening? It's increasing. Why? Because we're not listening. We're not looking with our real eyes. And so the problem gets worse, just like dis-ease in our bodies. It's the same thing, right? So our responsibility, our ability to respond to these issues determines if they get worse or they get better. So we must take responsibility. Saying, oh, the government's got to take care of homeless people, other people have got to do this and that, and homeless people, they've got to figure it out. Listen, if we don't figure it out together, it's not going to get figured out. So look, Buckminster Fuller, you haven't read any of his work, you need to. Genius, right? Architect, but much more, right? So he says, look, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. What are we doing here? We're not resisting what is. We're building a new model of the world where we live from our heart and intuition, where we live from our central intelligence agency. There is almost as many neurons in the heart as there is in the brain. I would say there's probably more. But anyway, right? Buckminster Fuller said this is not new information. This is ancient information, right? Emotion is primal. And when we act from primal emotions that are there for a reason, when we're attacked and we need to respond quickly, we need anger. It's a primal emotion. And sometimes we need that to push something away. Sometimes we need to retaliate to push something away. But we don't need retribution, and we don't need revenge, right? So anger is a vibration. Hate is a vibration in the body. It's destructive, right? Like I just said, what we resist, what persists, it perpetuates, right? What we want to feel in our body is compassion and love and passion, right? Passion so we can express our unique creative gifts. And what goes around what? Comes around. Give and you shall what? Receive. So give what you want to receive. You want love? Give love. You want passion? Give passion. Whatever you want, give. If you want to attract a certain person, become what that person will be attracted to. And if you want a peaceful world, be peace. Practice peace. If you want love, more love in the world, practice being loving. It's a practice, and you'll get better at it. You won't be perfect. Nobody is. Nobody, not even me. Can you believe that? We're all practicing. But the more we practice, the better we get. So look, I have again outlasted my time here. So we're going to keep this conversation going. In the meantime, sapere ord, dare to be wise.